Alright, I think we're live, perhaps, with the new mic set up and kind of a messy workbench, but I have a mission, and I was making some kits, or setting out to make some new kits, and I was 3D printing some enclosures, and my printer quit. So, the i3 finally actually had a failure, so I thought, well, let's fixie, and I thought, well, might as well stream it live and see how we make out. So these were gonna be some Roomba kits that I was gonna put in my store, just for fun, because people keep asking me for them. But I tried to print one of these, and I didn't bring it out of the other room, but it had released itself from the build platform, and the print failed in a spectacular way. It was stringies all over the place, and that's no bueno. So I think we can fix it if we can make some room on the bench to put things, and well, we'll see how we make out. Maybe we'll fix it, maybe we won't. But this is what I get for giving my printer some love recently. It's yours, Armando. Just walked into my new camera setup. My one camera is now fastened to the ceiling to give you guys a wide view down in the bottom corner, and then my other one here that articulates, which we're going to need really wide for this big beast. So this is my i3 Mega that you've seen in many videos. This is my favorite printer of all time. Alexa, turn on Workbench. Sorry, I'm getting Facebook messages like crazy. I put that, remember the Snapton SP510 drone? I did a video on it this summer, that GPS drone. It wasn't the best review, but it did fly, and I had the thing sitting in the other room for, well, all year. And I ran across it the other day, and I just finally had a smart idea and went and charged it, and I put it up on Facebook classifieds, my local classifieds tonight, and just posted it kind of with the intent that it would go to a youngster who had their heart set on a drone but couldn't get one. And the responses were swift and numerous, and I just let the first person know that they got it, and now there's people messaging that aren't so happy that they didn't get it, probably, but such is life. Can't make everybody happy. I tried. It's gonna make at least one kid happy. Hopefully it didn't disappoint anybody else, but anyway, here's where we're at. The i3 Mega here, it was printing along and then it failed, and I tested it out, and what we have is a failure for the, oh, geez, I hope I don't trip a breaker. Alexa, turn off Workbench. Let's kill all the unnecessary stuff. And this is going to be screaming loud for a minute. Sorry about that. The new fans I just put in this thing are crazy loud. Really unfortunate that way. Why is this not being smarter? Come on. What happens if we do auto gain? Come on. Guess you gotta come right in. Okay. Setup. Temp. Let's try the bed. Go. Here's our bed temp at the top, 21C. That's room temperature in here. And it would not change when I tried it out there. The print fell off, but it didn't raise any alarms, and the printer didn't quit. And yeah, we're getting no response on the bed. Still 21 with a set point of 58. So I have my theories of what this will be, but I guess we'll find out. Let's shut that loud fan off so you guys don't have to hear that. Back to hopefully the audio is a little better. I just replaced both fans in this extruder, the part cooling fan, which is on the left, and the extruder fan on the right, last week with brand new ones. And just a few weeks ago, I finally exchanged these bad linear bearings. This top linear bearing here was defective. It was actually defective right from the factory. It always snapped and snarled, but it never affected the print quality. It was just loud. So I fixed that, and it's nice and smooth. And these fans, one of them is way loud. I'll probably change it again. But this is the sort of thanks I get. I give it some love, and now it bites me. So unfortunately, we are dead. So I think we're gonna probably have a connection problem. I looked underneath, and let's see if we can get a better look. This thing is a little big for my workbench, but I'll try my best to get you some angles here. Easiest would be set this down. And let's see if we can come in from the back side and get a look. Yeah, we can. Okay, let's see if we can bring you in. And down here is our heated bed connections. And these are our connections of the wires going down to the drivers. There'll be a MOSFET driver on it. And they are still attached just fine to this heated platform here. They look just fine. It looks like we have a blue and a green and a black and a red. And the blue and the green are quite small. So that'll be our temperature sense, I would assume. And then the red and the black are our power and ground. And it's not our temp sense because it's not even, it's showing ambient, so I'm pretty sure that's working. What I'm suspecting is back to my roots in the moving things industry. It's always where things move. So this is our cable that this bed travel says we're printing fore and aft. And although it's tied awesome here because I did so myself so that it wouldn't break these connections where they usually break, it could be broken anywhere from here through to here. And this is where it always seems to flex, is right where it goes through the housing here. And then it also has a pretty tight radius bend here. There's nothing you can do. It's the nature of the beast. Like, it's got to flex. So let's find out how to get into it. I've never been into the bottom of this printer. I do have a spare fan that I ordered for the bottom too. So maybe, just maybe, we can do even more while we're in here. It looks like we can access that connection right here the easiest. So these Allen right here. And unfortunately I don't have my good Allen drivers in here, so we're gonna have to make do with good old Allen keys. Old school. That's life. Alright, cool. Yeah, cheers, David. Station 25 sounds like Grandma's axe. 4 replacement axe had 6 replacement handles. Yeah, this printer until today has had exactly one failed print job ever in its life, and that was it was one of the prints from the original SD card that came with the printer, and I failed. I think it was a test print of the Moon City model, and it's like a long print, and it's I can't remember the failure mode. I think it just started extruding really weird, like intermittent, and then I tried the same model again, and it failed at the same spot, the exact same spot in the G code. So and it had previously worked, so I tried moving the G code over to another SD card, and the problem persisted, was repeatable, and then I redid I got a new SD card and fresh file, and it was fine. So the SD had actually corrupted the G code, which I thought you'd be able to see, but when I opened it in text editor and went through it, I couldn't see anything wrong with it. So anyway, that was the only other failure of this printer. It has been an absolute rock star. This thing is, I just press go and I walk away, and I don't have to mess around getting anything to stick, no super glue. The Ultra Base print bed is just bloody amazing. It's just awesome. So I actually converted the CR10 over to Ultra Base as well. And I did not regret that one little bit. Let's do this one first. I've got a crossbar here. I don't think we'll have to take this all the way off. I think we can get in there and mess around with our wires here. But there's no connection on the heated bed side, so the connection has got to be only on the printer side. So we'll track that back, and I can access it from the back side here with my meter, so we should be able to ohm them out, which won't tell us if it has current carrying capacity, but we might even be able to power it up and try it. Try it under load. We might not need to, though. I'm thinking if I can fish the wire out of there, I think we can probably recreate this or identify the problem. That would have been awesome. Okay. Upside down? Sure. See if I can get that out of the way. Only for the sake of the camera work. I could just flip this over to the edge of the bench and work on it, but then I'll never get a good camera angle on it for you guys. Hopefully my audio is still good. I was pretty happy with the replay I checked of the audio of the other yesterday's live show with this new microphone. So there's the fan I got to replace. I have a spare of that one. Oh, that's completely off camera that you can't see. How about we put it on camera? This guy. And you can actually probably... Yeah, it's more rattle than bearing problem. But anyway, I do have a spare for that. Okay, so heated bed on task, Eric. It's this wire right here. This red wire's right here that you can't see. This red wire here. This black wire. Let me see. Nope. Try again, Eric. Here we go. And this is where it's coming through the printer. So what I'm thinking, should we remove, how hard is it to remove the terminations? Where does that go? It's just, where does it go? Where the heck does it go? There's two big guys down here. Sorry, this is really bad camera work. Cheers, Tech Mason. I'm a very lucky man. Why am I lucky? I would have removed the stepper motors from the bottom plate rather than messing with that bracket. Yeah, why would I want to remove the stepper motors? I don't want to do that. I'm already here. It was one Allen screw and I'm in. Done. And we are where we need to be. But for the sake of camera work, because I have a feeling I know where this is going to be broke, but this wire is not what I expected. Come on camera. This, you can tell by how that retains its shape, that is not at all what should be running to a moving platform. So I'm willing to almost wager we're gonna find a break. It's funny though, it didn't act up before it failed. Normally when like a heated bed wire like that is failing, you'll get intermittent dropouts, and on this printer an intermittent dropout is super easy to detect, because if it drops so much as about 30 degrees on the bed, your print will fall off. The Ultra Base will just, the adhering is gone and it will just fall off the bed and you'll have a complete failure, and we didn't have that. Alright, here's our connection right here by the looks of it. And it looks Not good. What style of connector? Do those come out? I need to go in. I need in. The camera is in the way. Are those removable? That's a different style of connection. They look strange. Normally these green connectors, although they're screw terminations, they normally pop off the board. They're just a female over a male pin setup. The reason I'm so interested in it and why I want to poke at that is because I can see a problem. Let's see if we can get you. Cheers, Robert. How's Alberta? Hopefully, I imagine you're buried in snow and sending it my way, because I think the snow's going to arrive here tomorrow. But I hope you're not buried. Where is focus? Focus, focus, focus. Can we get you a little bit better focus? No, it's not responding at all. Sometimes. So I went and poked at my Logitech settings and I knew I shouldn't. Oh, okay, there's two windows open. That's why. Alright. Maybe this will work? Nope. Ah, come on. 1 minute, guys. Sorry. Let's see what we can get. Let's try it through the other controller then. I should have rebooted the PC. My bad. Anyway, while that thinks, right down that you're not going to be able to make out in that shadow at the end of my Allen key. Hey, something changed. All my lighting went crazy. There is a black spot. It looks very burned, but I can't tell. Give me my advanced controls here, please. Hey, we got focus. Can you focus? Yeah, there you go. Took some doing, but right there is definitely black. But I can't tell. These are strange connection. They're not what I'm used to. They look like you would pry on the backside and they would release, but I don't think they are. I think this is just one piece and actually soldered right to that board, which is fine. But it has definitely been hot. There is no question. So I'm going to try and roll the printer. Let's go back to a different focus. Save that. Go back to advanced. See if it'll let me tune my webcam. Advanced, please. Right light. White balance. We don't want that messing around. I'd say the white balance is close enough for the remainder of this show. Okay. Let's say that's good enough. Raspberry Rock is here. Cheers, buddy. How's Russ doing tonight? Alright. Oogie. Let's see. Let's see if we can flip this over and get at the other side a little better. And then I can bring you guys in. It has been hot enough to melt. No question. That connector has been hot, but not. I don't think this is where our problem is going to be. I think that's only going to be a problem if I go prying on it. No, those aren't removable. Those are soldered right on. Okay, let's determinate the wire and take a close look. How did I have this before it actually worked? Everything's gone all cattywampus here. I got my webcam went loose. Sorry. Everything went sideways, went tilt on me. Alright, let's put it something like so, and we can get back in there. Let's try moving it further. Try not to, on the other end of the bench, I'm smashing into my scope with this big heavy printer. It's not the easiest thing. Okay, tweaker. And it is, oh, Jesus. Yeah, that's not good. She was definitely a little loose. And so it's a really high, yeah, the positive is completely loose. Huh. Yeah, the positive was not even making connection. Interesting. Yeah, if it was making connection, it wasn't good, but the negative is, oh, it's been, yeah, it just broke apart. This is gonna be a pain in the ass to fix. So, no charring on the positive. The negative was terminated. Alright, I will show you what I found. Let's see. Wish I could get the microscope, but I will show you. And you guys tell me what was wrong with this connection. As I have seen this 1,000 times in the industry that I work in my day job. This is a very, very common failure point. But, come on. Let's go. Can we get you some focus? Come on. Come on, webcam. Not there. Back a little bit. Back a little bit. There you go. Okay, you guys tell me. Here's our positive. Tell me if you see anything wrong there. And that negative, where I pulled that out, and tell me if you saw anything wrong with that. I'll tell you what I think in a few seconds. Short end on power. Waiting for a D&D session to start. Dungeons and Dragons. Robert said down to -14, but +2 tomorrow. Yeah, it was +8 here recently. It's +8 today, but down around 0 and freezing tomorrow. But, alright. It looks like there's quite a bit of lag tonight I see on the stream. It looks like the stream is currently at the point at which I was still getting these connections out. So this is going to take some time, but yeah, we'll just see who answers. That little squishy mark there is actually where the screw the terminal was actually terminated on the insulation. This was jammed too far in, and that was terminated directly on the insulation of that wire, which is why the side of this got so hot. It was a bad connection. Part of it was making connection where your conductor was in on the back side. There's a little spring tab on the back side where the clamp, where the fold is, but that's all it was making contact on. So this was part of our problem, but not the issue from tonight, except now this screw terminal is likely hooped, but we'll try screwing it back down, except not on the insulation. The conductor is fine, and it's actually even tinned with solder. Both of them are. So they did a nice job there. They're just human error. They terminated it on the insulation because they had either they made the connector too wide when they terminated it and stuffed it all the way down in. The trick is to run the screw in until it's seated or lightly seated, back it off just far enough for the conductor to slip in, and then you hang up on the insulation, and then you tighten it down so you're terminating on conductor. See this awful lot in the wind turbine world. It's just human error. Happens all the time. But I'd say we're okay there, but that's not our root evil. That's not where the problem was. That was just a bad thing. Not helping matters. But are you supposed to insulate the screw? Yeah. minor things, and we're gonna fix this up. But we still have to figure out why we had no power. Now, I went and re-terminated those because I was talking. We want them off for a minute because we're gonna fish them out of there. We're gonna take them right out. So, all right, we can get a better look at them too. But yeah, right there you can see where it was terminated on the insulation. And it's been hot too. The insulation's deformed a bit, but that flat spot right there by my thumbnail is where it was actually terminated. So, oopsie daisy. It did surprisingly well. Like, this printer is several years old, so it did okay. Okay, up here where it goes through is where I suspect our problem is going to be. And there's a zip tie holding it, making a nice little static point where things pivot. Now, can we... what kind of connections is this other end? Blue towards the power supply. Green to me. Blue to the power supply, green to me. On this temp switch that I just pulled off. And then we'll go ahead and fish our wires out of the back side here. Perfect. Now I'm going to cut... oh, come on. I'm going to cut this zip tie, holding it here. There. Now we have our heated bed connections completely loose, and I should be able to slide this sleeve all the way off once I straighten this out. And then we should be able to get a much better idea of what we're up against here. Electrical surgery, yeah, it is kinda. It is kinda sorta. Why is my... there. My replay is a mile back. The leg is real tonight. In studio, like, it's minutes ago. So, anyway, whatever. So be it. Okay, try and tug on this shield without tugging on the connections on the heated bed, because all they are is they're just soldered to it. They're not real strong, but this insulation is really tight. Alright, got her to a good point now. Come on. I am not going to be able to get that back on easy. Ooh, it's weird. That's grippy stuff. Oh, that's why I can't. Derp. The connection is too big. Well, that's alright. We don't need... where is it broken? I think I went the wrong... you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. I can't get it to somewhere. How did they get that through there? I guess if we pull the positive and the negative out first, and leave the sense wires. That's the only ones we need out, truthfully. There we go. Now we'll ring these out, and I might be just proven wrong. Alright. I don't see anywhere obvious. It might have actually been that positive wire that was loose, but that's okay. This way, when we go back together, we'll know, but I'm really surprised if that wire is intact. It's about the right age for failure. Like, it's got a lot of cycles on it. That bed's been back and forth a lot of times. Okay, we're on the positive. Positive. 0.2 ohms, right about what I would expect. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Fine. That's good. Maybe... Mista negative. 0.2 ohms. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Stretchy, stretch. Well, I'll be darned. Might have just been that connection. That's good news. Let's give this a really good going over. That wire is way better than what I thought. But I still, like, it's fairly heavy wire, but it's really stiff. It's not like silicone stranded wire. But that's alright. Heck, can't fault it if it's still working. Other than this end here is a little gnarly, but it's fine. It's solder all the way back to about here. You can feel where they tinned it. Did a nice job. Really nice job. Like, this printer, I've loved it from day one. It's just been awesome. And this is a nice surprise. Okay. Well, what should we do? Since we know that those are probably okay, let's go from one to the other and let's check our heating element. And see, it should be low ohms. Not that. There we go. I was getting worried for a second there. Yeah, under an ohm. That's about right. So, should we fish those back through and hook them up? I don't think we're going to change these wires today. I think I'm quite content with those. What do you guys think? I think we can say those are probably going to be okay. Perhaps. Good enough for me today, I think. But we may have a heck of a time getting those back through this. I may go with something else. I have some split loom that we could use. I would rather use this original stuff though. It's just, now that it's got about a million cycles of bends on it, it's gonna be pretty tough to stuff that through there. Yeah, we're not gonna get that through there, I don't believe. Yeah, hold on, we'll try. Hold tongue just right. Tongue just right. Forward progress, forward progress. It's going ever so slow. This is really nice stuff. I don't know what it is. It says it's PVC OFT 105C. Some kind of a wire wrap. And it is nice. It is soft. Come on. We are bounded up and we got a long way to go. Straighten out. Where are we? Probably down here at this bend. Kim, what's everybody else up to tonight? How have you guys been doing out there while I fish my wire? Good old apprentice job, pulling wire. I hope everyone's ready for Christmas. We're going into lockdown here, unfortunately. Well, it needs to be done. There's no question there. It needed to be done months ago. But yeah, lockdown 2.0 starts here Boxing Day in my area for 28 days. Oh man, I'm about to give up on this and go with split loom. Oh man, should have changed that last time. Yeah, I try not to try to foresee these problems and fix them. Like this wire I'm debating on changing right now, but really I can't justify it. And I don't think I have anything any better. I have some meter lead wire somewhere. Man, where is that? We are well and truly stuck. It's right here. It does not want to play nice. It's all bounded up. Come on. Come on. Keep going. Alright. That's enough of that. You win! You win, wire, you win. I just got so rammy with it, I nearly yanked it off the bottom of the heated bed again. Alright, we'll take this little... They even went as far as to put hot glue on this connection for the temp sensor, which is pretty cool. This is a little spacer. why it had that. It's got a chunk of another connector to keep this from going on too far, because it's just 2 leads sticking up off the board. Get that hot snot off of there. We'll take this off of here. We'll put everything into one split loom. Now watch, I probably won't have the right size of split loom. Or watch it not be split loom at all. Watch it be normal loom, and I'll be into the same bloody problem. Oh yeah, I've got some nice cloth stuff that's too small. But this looks like just what the doctor ordered. I think this will do the trick. I saw some cool tools for putting this stuff on just the other day, actually. It was kind of neat. All I've ever done is just do it by hand and kind of wrestle it into place, but I guess I could do this after. And we could just terminate everything for now. I don't know, but it's probably easier to just do it now while I'm thinking about it. It's going to play nice if we jam that through. Yeah, it's easier to just... I think I will... Well, we need to get this back through the hole we came through as well. Let's do that now. I could run the temp sensor. This split loom is just a tiny bit too small for these conductors for all 4. I think it's just about perfect for our high current wires. Yeah, it's going to be... It's not going to be the best to try and jam all 4 in. That's okay. You can do 2 separate ones. Can I just stuff that on? Is it going to travel through this? No, it's going to bind up. Sure as heck. Let's just do a couple here. Let's do this. I'm sure there's people that put this stuff on all day long that are like, have this down pat. And they're screaming at the screen maybe someday watching this, but I do not put loom on wires all day long. Alright, there we go. We're heading in the right direction now. We want to slide that up the var. Just keep feeding it. And lockdown a week ago. Oof, yeah. That sucks. Which way am I going here? I was going the wrong way for a second. Dialing in the laser settings to do some ceramic tile etching. Cool. Do you have to put paint on the tiles first for that, Tech Mason? And then you etch the paint off? I never understood. I've never tried it, but I saw some pretty unique designs for like I always thought it would be cool for like for a pet headstone or something. You could do it like that embossed marble or whatever, or however they do that. I guess I don't know. Come on, we were going so good. Oh, that's what happened. Negative came out. Come on. I guess I could do this after the live stream. There's no need for you guys to sit through this. I would like to just get this on and terminated. But this size is... Do I have any more? heat shrink, foam, no, only the one container, and it appears to all be the same size. Crud. Yeah. We can try it this way too. Come on. Well, there's a way to just run it up with the tweaker and just do like a zipper, but this does not. It just keeps wanting to fold. Now, mind you, this is the cheapest junk split loom. Like this did come from questionable seller many moons ago. What I bought it for was for the robot project. Okay, to hell with it. I'll do it after the stream. Let's terminate it and test our heater. Let's make sure we've got our problem fixed. Let's green to me on the temp sensor. Let's re-terminate this high power connections and fire up the printer and see what we get. Because we might have more problems yet. We might. Anything's possible. Especially on a live stream. Okay. Bring you guys around. Maybe we'll even fix that fan. I actually kind of don't want to be honest. As if I have the same luck I had with that other fan. It's so loud, I have to exchange it. There's no way I can keep this fan running in this thing. Do them in the right locations, Eric. I do love the airflow on that fan, how well it works, but it is so freaking loud. It is basically intolerable. Come on. Get under there. It would be a lot easier if there wasn't a camera in my way right now. I need to move you. There. Maybe I can get to the backside now. You're right in right where my head needs to be. That is not terminating correctly. Let's just... Do I have a mirror? No, I don't. I'm so used to having my inspection mirrors. They're out in the garage. I want to see whether the jaws are opening on this thing. I don't think it is. It feels funny. Remember, the positive was the one that was so loose I just pulled it right out. But it's not the one that was burnt. The negative is the one that's burnt, and now the housing is kind of shattered around when I had to... Yeah, we're fine now. It's fine. Sometimes it's... The positive must have been just getting underneath the jaws instead of in them. It happens sometimes. That's why I ran it all the way out and pushed down pressure on it. It spreads the jaw back open correctly. This negative one I'm not going to be able to feel because it's all burnt and chewed. God, why is it so loose? I think we better look at the bottom of that. That feels like it's busted now. Okie doke. Let's take a look. Let's take a look, see what we're up against. Yeah, white paint on the tile and then take the unetched paint off with acetone. That's kind of neat. Yeah, that sounds like it would be fun. I'd definitely like to try that someday. Okay, Are these ribbons gonna... What's gonna fall all over when I pull this out? Without a proper driver either, this Allen key is not the best. What we can end up doing is we'll find the high current. The MOSFET's right in front of it there, or a MOSFET, and I'm guessing that's our high current connection, but we won't know till we get in here. Let's pull our SD card out so it doesn't get split. How's our... Yeah, mostly on camera. They got 1,001 freaking fasteners holding this board down. Holy smokes. This printer is definitely on the high end of design to the over-designed side. That's a good thing. That's a rare thing. Okay, don't go flying. I would rather leave everything terminated if I can. Where's our one? So the fan is fastened to the frame. Holy shit balls. Which is underneath, which is bolted from above under the build plate. Definitely not designed to be serviced after the fact. Yeah. Sorry, little bracket, but you gotta get bent. Because I am not going in there like that. Yeah. That's where our failure point is, or it is now. I may have aggravated that when we had to get rough with that connector. So that is very well and truly broken off the posts, no question, so that wouldn't be any good like that. Now, how can we get it upside down like? I need that fan bracket out of the way. Can we slide the build plate up? Yep, we can. Okay. Let's flip this over. This is way more than what I wanted to get into tonight, but so be it. We're in now. Okay, it's these guys right here. We want them out of there, and then we can get our bracket out of the way, and then hopefully we can flip our board over and then see how much damage there is, whether we need to change our approach. All these fasteners are basically the same. That's cool. I like that. Now we should hear a thump as the fan falls down. It did. Now, try not to. There we go. I think I put a big fingerprint on there at some point. There we go. Okay, back the other way. I feel a board falling all over the place, so we won. Alright, what do we got? Yeah, I don't want to pull this ribbon for our display if I can help it. Yeah. Neat. Okay, well, I don't think I did that entirely. It was definitely, I think I helped it along the lines, but that is way not what I expected. Where are we at? We want down here. Okay. That's our connector. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. And if the camera was just a little bit better in focus, you'd see these posts are broken right through. Those solder joints are completely broken. Mostly because of me having to be rough with this connector. There's the burn. Oof. There's the burn on the inside of that connector on the negative that was terminated on the insulation. The positive was loose but not burned. So this is easy enough. We don't need to get creative and do anything funny. we just need to solder that back up. And I'm just going to do it right in situ, right there. I got the iron, the wet's warming up. It'll take a few minutes. So we're going to need lots of heat. It's a pretty big connection. But yeah, it's just cracked all the way around. The posts are just loose. We could glue this down. Ideally this connector should be glued down, but what we can do is just put a little pressure on it and make sure that it's bottomed when we touch it with the iron. I'll just touch it with this solder while I'm holding that on, and that'll put it flat 90 degrees to actually the bottom will be parallel with the top of this plate, and that will hold it so it can't rock. And then I'll touch one at a time with fresh solder and make them all spiff without the opportunity for it to back out. We could also use a clamp to hold it tight, but the idea is we want it really tight against the board so the vibration long term isn't going to cause that to break those solder joints again. Solder on some small flying leads. Yeah, we definitely could. Dan, you absolutely could just do, we could actually just tack those leads right on to our chassis ground. One of them is just going to be chassis ground and the other is going to be on this MOSFET right here that you can barely see. But there's no need. We can fix this up. The negative terminal was a little bit funky there. Let's just see whether it's still usable. Now that we can turn, oh, don't rip the bloody ribbon cable, Eric. Let's just see if it's serviceable. I don't have this style of connector. I definitely don't. Oh, that is bad. It is crunchy. Well, whatever was in it just fell out. Yeah, I think that'll terminate just fine. It's not going all the way to seated. We're hitting on the threads where they've been kind of arced. So what I'll do is I'll just I'll just build up the tin on this negative too, and it'll be fine. We'll give it a go. We'll find out. Let's try it and see where we end up. Can we solder the wire straight to the board? Yep, we sure could. Like we said, we could wire them right to the MOSFET. But I really don't want to do that. I would rather just repair this, and that way we still have our connections easy to work with, because the day is going to come, I can tell you it's going to come soon, where we're going to end up to have to repair, we're going to have to replace those leads to the bed itself. Really quite surprised that we haven't had to already, but it's kind of a nice thing. Where's all my alligator clips? I can't find a single alligator. Where do alligator clips go? Somebody answer me this. Where do alligator clips go? They disappear and they go somewhere. Sometimes they return, like this guy, he returned. But a lot of the time they definitely do not. They go somewhere. I never figured that out. Life's mysteries. Alright. This is strictly for the camera and nothing more. There. How about that? Creative. Strictly so you can see. Alright, so the lead we're interested in is right here. If we're gonna do things on camera, we might as well bloody have focus, eh? There. This guy right here. Who's gonna jump around the minute I touch it, but that's okay. Solder. 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 Okay. Tin clean. Tin clean. Fume extractor. No room for it. Alright, we'll hold that up tight. Let's see if we can reflow that leaded. Nope. Not enough on there. There is a minimum of solder on there. Add some leaded. I think I said leaded. It meant to say lead free. There's a big gob. Our connector is tight. There's solder all over the bloody place, but we'll get it cleaned up in a second. There's a camera right in my way. Connector moved. Holding it. Contaminants, goop on there. The other thing you'll find, if it's been arcing, the solder won't take the best. If it's been arcing and there's arc damage. And that acted just a little funny for a second, but it seems fine now. Yeah, that's hot. There's plenty in there. Good enough. The other ones look fine. They're not cracked. Minimum solder on them, but they're not gonna be getting the mechanical movement that this one will be getting through. Let's see how that does. Can I back you off? Kind of, sort of, maybe. Yeah. Can I put this thing back in place? Or do we need to be back upside down for that? I think I kind of need to be upside down. I have never had so much problem with the camera in my road as I have today. That is just brutal. Printer is just too big for this workbench and just not set up for streaming this big of an item, but I'm trying here. Hopefully this is watchable for you guys. I really hope it is. Okay, before we land that, let's move this back and let's deal with our connections, just in case something goes awry and we break it again or whatever. Let's try and terminate those connections while we can get at them. Tweaker. Well used insulated tweaker. Not so insulated anymore. It's a lot easier when I can see the terminal, that's for sure, but not so easy when the patient moves. Get in there. Oh yeah, we were going to build that negative up a little bit too, weren't we? So it just moves that out just a tiny bit. Alright, we're terminated, not on the insulation. That's good. Let's build that negative up just a tiny bit. Focus. There. Negative's down here on the bench. We'll give her a nice little build up. Oh yeah, there's a big gob. Let that cool. Alligators go to Washington, D.C. swamp, Florida. Guess so. Alright, we got a nice good tinned end there now with a little excess on it, just for good measure. That is not spread all the way. I really wish I would have had a spare for that terminal. It really looks like crap, but it's holding. If there was any more plastic missing, the screw would just fall out the side. But we're not there. But that might be... too much. That's going to be too much, Eric. Too much. I can't back it up than minimally open. She's clamp right down. Doesn't that? Alright, we golden. You know, the heater, so where we sort of ended up, the heater measures fine. The wires measure fine. We've now fixed the loose connection on the positive. We've fixed the burnt connection on the negative. In theory, this might function if we don't cause any more problems at this point. This has got to line up perfectly for our SD card, and this ribbon cable up here is fairly dainty. I'm trying not to yank that out, but I realize I've been rough with it more than once now. And I've got to start these fasteners in with just an Allen key, non-magnetized. This could be fun. Tink, tink, tink. Down they go into the inside. At least it's not a car engine. They're not going to go too far, I guess. Oh, come on. I can get one, and then I got to figure out that fan. Make sure there's not going to be anything funky there. We got one. Our wires are in the right places. We need to put our other stuff back on. What would you guys do? Would you change this fan while you're in here? Especially if you already have one. I'm pretty sure it has one. I do believe that's the little puppet right there. It's got a little tick to it, but not bad. I'm tempted to leave well enough alone and see if we've just got this problem fixed. What do you guys think? Leave it alone and make sure we got everything bloody fixed before we end up causing another problem? Because you never know. The new fan may be no better. Am I on camera? Nope. Not at all. Sorry. Oh, come on. There we go. There's no way to me. What's our wide view like right now? Wide view is not much more useful. One change at a time. You know what? I am right there with you. One change at a time sounds like a very pragmatic, smart approach. We'll see what we got first. Although I would really like to get this bloody fan. It went that way, right? It didn't go that way. It had to be over the board. Yeah. Why can't I get the hose to line up? No way, no how. Oh, there they are. It's really dark on the far side. Let's see if I can get one screw in there, would be great. Then we can straighten out the bracket I bent. Come on. Had it. With the added bonus of I'm right on the smooth rod, so I'm getting grease on my hands too. Bonus. Come on. At one half started crooked cattywampus. On camera, kinda sorta. See if we can pivot the other one until it lines up. I guess we could test it without the fan too, but I'd rather have this in place. I don't want to look back. Once we get this working, I just want to deal with that split loom and make her sing. I think we got it fixed. I give us a good 70%. We'll see. My only concern is with that loose connection and that screwed connection, it is very possible that the MOSFET was damaged. It's not that big of a heater, but the thing is when you have a loose connection like that under load, and this is the highest bloody load in the printer is the heated bed, you'll get an inductive kick every time it comes on and off, because it is an inductive load. It's a heater, and it'll make a pretty good kick. And although MOSFETs have the back EMF protection and stuff, they don't take kindly to it. It's pretty abusive on them, so it could have chewed it up, but that's okay. I probably even have a MOSFET for this here. Maybe not. Okay. Wires through. Our patient is on life support still, but it's looking a little more promising. Alright. Roll that ahead. You always want to be a little slow when you're rolling these, because those steppers are generating a huge back EMF onto the main board. On the CR10, if you roll the build plate around at all, it'll actually, the back EMF, the generated voltage actually illuminates the display. It's kind of a little unnerving. Not ideal. Alright, did we forget anything? I guess we didn't go over it. I don't think I forgot anything. Temp sensor plugged in, heater terminated, soldered. The only thing we could do is put a little bit of glue around that connection, but let's test it first. What do you think? What do you guys give it for odds? Are we going to be successful? Is she going to work? Let's see. First step. Is it going to trip the breaker or do something stupid because of me being rammy in there? I don't think so. I give it 1% odds of that. Alright. That's going to be a little loud for you guys for a minute. And focus. Focus is about as good as it gets. Setup. Temp. Bed. 50. Go. Set to 54. Sitting at 23. 24. 25. 26. 27. Alright. Let's give it a minute before we go patting ourselves on the back too much. Got to deal with these wires and stuff with that loom, but we're up to 30 of 54, 31, 32, 33, maybe? Nope, 32, 33. Alright. Nope, no SD card. Let's try the extruder. This is where we trip the breaker. Set to 175 on the extruder, 23 degrees, 24, 26. Okay, extruder's coming up. We're good. Only thing left is the steppers. We could try those. Orders off. Temp. How do we turn that? It's just fan on the extruder's coming on now. That's going to be crazy loud, so we'll just maybe quickly try the stepper motors and just make sure that... how do you jog those on this one? I never have to. Okay. Okay. And Z. So X, Y, and Z all working. Shut that noisy thing off. That's that new fan. Jeez, that's loud. That's crazy loud, eh? I was wondering why that tiles were coming out weird. Can't count. Time to put the crack pipe away. Turbo fan. Yeah, that thing is stupid loud. It's a tiny. Check this out. All that noise. This is crazy. This was a surprise to me. These are the fans that came out of there, and the one that's screaming loud is that guy. right there. It only kicked on for a moment. This other one is on low right now. This is the parts cooling fan. That little sucker right there I got from Amazon, local Amazon warehouse, and it just howls. And then the remainder is that fan in the bottom that's not bearing noise. It's just loud. So I don't think I really want to change it, to be honest. I think we'll leave it alone. Okay, so we only got one screw in our board, so that's undesirable to go poking around any longer without getting the board fastened down, I think. But I don't know. I'd say we won, wouldn't you guys? I think I did. I think we did pretty good. That's pretty good for whatever day it is. I think we won. As long as we can get everything else back together without any major problems, we'll be okay. Oh, that sits right into... There must be a locator dowel in there somewhere. Because that... I bet you it's the SD card slot. Yeah, it is, I think. Because that is... Oh, it's the USB. That's what our locator dowel is. The USB, the big silly printer style USB port on it, is holding the board right in place with just the one Allen head screw without no problem. So that's cool. That makes it nice and easy. I like the look of the board on this thing. So I've raved about this printer in just about every video I've ever done of any part that I've ever made with it. The thing is just a bloody rock star. It just works. So tonight's little escapade, although undesirable, there's no counter in the firmware in this for miles driven, or at least not that I can see on the HMI, on the normal interface. Maybe in the firmware in the EEPROM there's a counter. I'd like to know how many rolls of filament I've put through this thing, but it's a lot. It is a lot. I don't print like as much as Neary's or the other guys like Chris, who just print basically all day for the sake of printing. But I printed a lot of parts on this thing, and they all just come out amazing. And it's the hands-free that I truly love about it. The fact that I can just hit go and it just sticks to the ultra base print bed every time without me being in the room, without applying glue or anything, and then also just falls off at the end, which is what happened here when the heated bed stopped working. Come on. Why is this one screw that I think they're into spacers behind that are bolted from the top, and they have some flex in them, so they weren't perfectly aligned. But there we go. Yeah, we're good now. Tight, and tight. So now I can put this back to work tonight. I'll probably supervise it for a little bit just because I don't really want to light my house on fire right before Christmas, so I'll make sure that nothing went awry. What I might do is put my DC amp clamp on the print bed. I guess it's kind of irrelevant. It either works or it doesn't, but I'd like to know how many amps that's drawing. It's no problem, especially before I put the split loom back on it to measure it, but I think we're in good shape. I'm just going to take another look at this connector here that we had so much trouble, because if anywhere is going to be a problem on this thing, this is going to be it. This is, like I said, this is our highest current on the whole damn printer right here. I do not want to have a problem. Yeah, that's pretty good. Those are good and tight. They're sunk in now. You can feel the tin conductors squishing there now. And it's fine, although it looked like hell because the plastic broke. It's mechanically solid still and holding, and our connector is tight against the board, can't wiggle it, so I got it through all the way before I soldered it. We're good. Let's just check the other ones. I don't remember if I checked these or not. No, they're a little loose too, but that's just normal. Yeah, they're definitely loose. That happens. It's on tin connection, right? So you're going to get some squish over time. And we'll pull these wires away from this board so that they don't rest on the edge of a Sharpie. And then we'll run this loom all the way in so that this doesn't do anything silly. I think we'll be in good shape. Know what to do with that. Well, this is super easy to deal with. I don't have to pull that bracket off. Yeah, I think that's what why it's so noisy is it's mounted upside down, so these fans actually work a little better the other way, or vertical on their side, but it can actually, when it's not loaded, if there's enough choke of the airflow, it can rattle like that. That could be maybe why it's a little bit noisy, but I don't think it's bearing noise. It's not that bad. It's just slop. It's just poor. It's just not a good fan. That's okay. You can't expect them to put high quality ball bearing ones in everything. Alright, and then what we're left with is our burnout piece of plastic, our SD card, that we'll put back into hole. And we'll be in good shape. What did you measure? 0.8 at room? Yeah, it was right around there, something like that. Around 800 or 0.8 ohms at room, just right around an ohm, but doesn't really mean anything on a heater like that. It's plus minus a tenth of an ohm is irrelevant. Even half an ohm or even an ohm, it's not a huge thing, as it's not actually warmed up either. The resistance will come down a little bit as it warms up. Yeah, we're in good shape. I think we're in good shape. The only other thing I could do is lube the smooth rods, but I already did. And I replaced these bearings, like I said, they're brand new. I also have these new bearings for it, but I opted to go with the linear normal bearings, but I also have these whatever material, I don't know what it's called, poly, yeah, it just says Prusa i3 rep wrap style, but these I could use in place too, supposedly. They almost look too small, but I think they're the right size. I don't know how well they'd be compared to the... Oops, threw one in the garbage. I don't know if they'd be any better than the normal linear bearings, but the normal ones were quite cheap. So they're changed now. She's smooth, no more snappy snap. So yeah, I don't think I need to stream fighting with this split loom because it didn't go well before. I'm actually really tempted to get another size up. Is that... Oops, sorry, I hit the microphone. I almost wonder whether it'll be a lot better to just use a bigger one. It's not going to fit all 4 conductors into this anyway. No way. But... yeah, no, I think I'll just do 2 of this. I'll just spend the time and wrestle it into place. There's got to be a trick to this. Like, I know there's a trick to this. I might have to go on the YouTubes and see. Like, I just envision there's a way to run my finger and this screwdriver down this and just zip it right into place. Like, it's got to be that simple. There's got to be a way. You just must have to know how to do it just so. Like, that's going, but I think there's got to be an easier way yet. Other than putting it over the end, of course, which is wasn't real good here, and the wire just grabs on and snaps and snarls. There's gotta be a way. I'm hitting the microphone with my arm already, so I can see this is not gonna go well. I think I'll just do this off camera. But you get the idea. I'll feed that down through all the way to the main board. Once I hold my tongue just right. The other one will go better. I should have done that. I should have started with these two for the sensor wires, but anyway, whatever. Life's adventures. Minor thing. And then I'll zip tie it exactly how it was before in the same places. One right here on the chassis, and then one to the back side, and I'll leave lots of slack as much as we can to get a nice loop. And yeah, we'll be away. But this, I have little doubt that this will be the next point that'll fail. There's an awful lot of cycles on those conductors, so I'm really surprised they're not failed. But we're gonna leave them alone, and probably I'll get bit by a week from now. Such is life. Yeah, I'll know if the fan stops working, those loud things. Curious about the current and how much resistance of the heating wire changes things heats up. Yeah, it'll change significantly. Like a static measurement of the resistance of that heater is basically like you're basically measuring the resistance of a stove bolt. Like it's just a thick short coil of wire basically will give you the same result, but it's a significantly big heating element. So, but yeah, we could put a current measurement on there with these out, and then we could measure it, but truthfully I don't care. You can do the Ohm's law of it right here pretty quick. But as it heats up and the resistance goes up, I don't know what the current will be. I'm gonna guess, maybe just totally guessing, do I have a functional DC clamp meter handy? This one has DC, but I don't know whether it's functional. This is my X-Tech, but I don't know how low this goes. I don't think this will go low enough. And yeah. This thing, I love X-Tech gear. I really, really do. I got that for free, and that's all that fucking thing is worth. This thing, don't let friends ever buy one. This thing, it came in a holster. I won this from Planet X Tech, along with an iPad as well, when I was submitting, I forget, like thermography images or something from my i7, my thermal camera for their site or whatever. Anyway, it came with this mode button permanently squished down. The modes, there's on DC amps right now. Now, really, I'm sure there may be a way to zero that and smarten it up. Oh yeah, there's the max min is now stuck, now that I pushed on it. That is now stuck in, and that's because of the shipping they did on it. But this thing, even on volts, never worked right. It just acted totally stupid. The only thing that worked right was this IR temp measurement, and that seemed to work. But I should just throw the frickin' thing in the garbage. It is well and truly a piece of crap. I have a proper low amp probe that has been through the wars. There's no battery in it, so I'm going to stop here. I'm not going to piss around. This goes onto your standard meter, and this will measure right down to milliamps with an inductive. It's got a 20 amp and a 40 amp range, and on the 20 amp range at 100 millivolts per amp on your meter, it will measure really finite to the point where this is really good for like fuel pumps on cars and trucks. You can actually see the commutator bars go by plotting the current waveform on that. And as you can tell, it's been through many moons of use with me. It's just a wonderful device. For scoping, for scope use, it would be great, and for this it would be perfect too, but there's no battery in it, and I'm not that interested. somebody can tell me how much theirs draws. I guess like 5 amps or so once it's hot, maybe. I don't know. I could be way off. It could be double that, 10 amp, maybe. I don't know. I don't think it's going to be the 12 amp for very long. I think once it heats up, the resistance will go up. Anyway, that's fun. Fun hanging out. Is the heater on this 24 volt? That's a good question. I just assumed it was 12 on this. I never have to look it up. I think it's 12 volt on these ones. It might be 24. That's right around the time where they started going to 24 and higher on them. But I think it's a 12 volt on this one. That's a really good question. I don't know. That's a really good question. You got me curious. Not that it matters. But now you got me curious. I'm pretty sure it's 12. Because if we look at... I bet you there isn't even 24 volt output on this. Yep. It's only 12 volt output on this power supply. There's no 24 on it. So there's our answer. Like my run out sensor. Permanently bypassed. That was... I forget. That was... I think I bypassed it just because it was a pain in the ass to thread through every time. When I was changing filament, I'd forget to thread the filament through it. Yeah, that's why. I'd forget to thread the filament through it and get it all fed in and get the thing all primed, and then you go to hit print and it would fail, filament run out. And I'm like, frig that. Bypass. Never needed it. It's... yeah, I don't run out of filament. And the pause resume functionality of this printer is completely useless. The power out resume is completely useless on anything with an ultra base print bed, because as soon as the print bed cools off, the part pops and moves on the print bed 99% of the time, or it'll move as soon as it goes to heat up again. There's no way to resume a print on this bed. I don't even know why it has that function. It's kind of funny. Anyway, I'm off into the weeds here, guys. Cheers. I'm glad that you could hang out with me. I hope you enjoyed some printer fixing, and maybe this will help somebody someday on theirs. Pretty straightforward, a couple minor problems, and probably some wires to come soon, but other than that, we're back in service. Everything's functional, and I can put this back to work tonight. Cheers, guys. Had a lot of fun. Have a good one.